Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 10 of the Cable Guys podcast. Pat doesn't feel good today, so I'm going to be hosting, and I'm joined by Pat Dempsey. Pat, how you doing?
Good. How's everyone? I don't know why I said how's everyone. How are you, Chris?
I'm good, and people might respond to the comments with how they are, so you may as well ask how they are.
You look different.
I do?
A little bit. I
What's
can't.
different?
I can't put my finger on it, but you look different.
Is it because I got a hole in one? I have a hole in one glow, don't I?
Yeah, that's what it is.
No, my wife gave me a haircut, and I shaved because I was sick of all of the hair that was on my head.
Wait, do that again. I never realized how far back your hairline goes.
I've got a big time widow's peak. You don't notice it as much when I've got a lot of hair because it all just falls forward. And then I fluff it is what I call it. I fluff it in the front.
Yes, but going back, you do have a hole in one, Chris.
I do.
I think what happened is when we did the last episode of the all-time cable teams, we started the recording. Something happened with my computer, so we started it again afterwards. And you mentioned it right away in the first one and didn't mention it after that.
It's
so
true.
I don't know if anyone heard the story.
Yeah, I got a hole in one at West Bridgewater Country Club, not this past Saturday, but the one before. It was the fourth hole, 102 yards, right?
It was like 96.
No, it was over 100.
It was not because the flag was in the front.
All right, that's fair. The hole was the sign or the card says like 102, 112, something like that. Anyways, doesn't really matter. I took a 3-wood off the tee because I can't hit an iron to save my life. A 3-wood. You heard me, a 3-wood. I hit a 3-wood off the tee. I took a very light swing. Actually made contact the way I wanted to. Carried it about 85 yards. Yes, 85 yards with a 3-wood. And it rolled up and into the hole. It was pretty exciting. And I've had at least 4 or 5 people tell me that it doesn't count because A, the hole was too short, and B, I was using a 3-wood on a 112-yard par 3. But I took one swing. The ball went in the hole. That's a hole in one in my book.
I could not stop laughing.
Me neither. It was hilarious.
It was one of those things where I was laughing. I was like, "Oh my god, like that's amazing, that's crazy," and then I continued to laugh because of how preposterous it was.
Yeah. The circumstances. It took me 115 strokes to finish the rest of the course.
No, 114 to finish the rest of the course.
No, 115. I scored a 116 on the day.
I thought you got a 115.
I don't think so. If that gives you any idea as to how unlikely this hole in one was, it was a 3-wood. It was a guy that shot a 116 on the day. And it's a hole in one. I mean, the chances of that happening even for a good golfer aren't great. So the fact that all came together is just preposterous.
There's one other caveat that you didn't mention either. Baseball, you hit pretty well, right? You can hit the ball pretty far.
Mm-hmm.
You're a lefty.
I am.
In golf, you are not a lefty.
I probably am, but I play righty.
You play righty until you get to the green.
Yes, then I putt lefty. Folks, I'm a terrible golfer, in case you're not gathering that by the talk here. I was so bad lefty that I switched to playing righty in an attempt to make it a little bit better. And it got a little bit better, if we're being honest, but not much.
Because I was at that first round, too. We're like, why don't you just try it?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But
anyways, this isn't a golf podcast.
Not a hockey podcast.
Definitely not a Red Sox podcast. Suns out, guns out.
So the thing that really happened today is we had practice today too. We're recording this on Monday.
Yep, Memorial Day.
We usually do it on Saturday, but we're doing it on Memorial Day because we were way too lazy over the weekend and didn't want to do anything.
Correct.
So we're doing it last second. We had practice today. It was nice to get out on the field, but boy, did I find out how fucked I'm going to be after this quarantine.
Why?
Because I was hitting and everything, but I was tired. I'm just out of shape. And my whole joke that I think I said to you a few times was
probably
the longer this quarantine goes, the better it's going to be for the Senators because everyone's going to kind of come to our out of shape level.
Yep. But we're kind of sinking.
That doesn't help if the Senators' out of shape level keeps going higher.
Yeah, we're sinking below even our own mark as far as in shape goes. So
yeah.
I mean, at least we got a Hunter looks like he's in pretty good shape. Deegan looked like he was in pretty good shape. So our in shape guys are getting more in shape, and our out of shape guys are getting more out of shape. So it's kind of going like that.
But the funny thing too is those two guys when we were hitting today, those are the two kids that were kind of struggling a little bit too.
Your brother was putting pretty good wood on the ball when he was actually hitting it. He was slapping line drives, and I know I did this and
you did this and went wood. And
no, No, I mean, he was hitting the ball pretty well. He struggled a little bit to make contact sometimes, but when he put the barrel on it, he was actually hitting it pretty well.
And our future leadoff hitter had a rough day.
He struggled. But this is the first time he's swung a bat since August. At least Hunter hit a little bit in the offseason. So, I don't know. Deegan started slow last year, too, and hit 450 something. So I'm not too worried about Cam.
Oh, no. I know how to play baseball. Yeah, but that's really about it. And then we finally have kind of some updates on the league.
A little bit.
So why don't you give a rundown on that? You know a little bit better than I do.
Sure. So, Massachusetts started the phase reopening. I'm sure everybody knows that. So we're currently in phase 1, which is gatherings of 10 people or less.
I get to get a haircut on Friday.
Nice. Should have just done what I did. But anyways, gatherings of 10 people or less. So for those of you wondering, practice today, we only had 7 guys there. We were practicing our social distancing. So that was good.
We definitely invited more.
Oh, yeah. We invited anybody who wanted to go, but we knew less than 10 would go. Let's be serious.
Yep.
So we're currently in phase 1, gatherings of 10 people or less. Phase 2 is currently slated to begin on Monday, June 8th. And that's gatherings of 25 people or less. And if you remember, our target start date for the season was June 14th. So technically we could probably fit in that window, but it would be pushing it with the amount of guys that would be coming to games, because if you factor in umpires and then players, you can only have either 11 or 12 guys for each team show up to stay within the guidelines. And that's not counting friends and family that come to watch the game. I won't say fans because we don't draw fans. We draw friends and family.
Acquaintances.
So, So what was decided is that we were going to push the start of the season again to Sunday, July 12th, because phase 3 in Massachusetts is gatherings of 50 people or less and starts on I think Monday, June 29th, if everything goes according to plan and there's no new spikes or anything gets pushed back. And obviously everything's subject to change with the phases being pushed back, but our current start date is planned for July 12th, maybe a couple of weeknight games in the days leading up to that. I feel like I had something else to say there. The season's going to be cut from 22 games to 18 games, so you'll still play everybody in your division 3 times, and you'll play – so in our case, we'll play 3 games against the Central, 3 games against the North. If we get pushed back any further, I think there's going to be more out-of-division games cut to start. The sole reason being that with teams in our division, they're the only ones that we play multiple times, so you can get double headers in against them, and you can get night games in against them because the travel isn't as bad. It's tough to play out-of-division night games on weeknights because there's a lot of travel, and usually you're able to use Boston Fields as kind of an intermediary between the 2 teams, but I don't know if Boston's going to be issuing permits this summer. I would assume they would because
I mean, you're not going to want to have like the Rockies come down and play in Plymouth.
No, or even Weymouth or Dedham. That's still a haul. Even Boston's a haul for those guys, but I mean, it's at least more manageable.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the Park League and the Intercity League and Yawkey are all planning on playing, and they heavily rely on Boston Field. So I would imagine that there will be permits issued in Boston at some point, but it's going to be more practical for us to cut to 18 games. And it's still a lot of baseball to play 18 games.
Yeah.
And that's going to cut the eligibility requirements of the playoffs from 10 games to 9. I think it's going to cut the innings pitched to 9 as well, because it was previously 11 innings in 22 games to be eligible to pitch in the playoffs. So if we're playing 18 games, just prorate that. It gets you down to 9 innings pitched to be eligible to pitch in the playoffs.
Well, that was just for pitchers. I mean, if you had the number of at bats, you could still
that'll also be reduced to match because there was 22 plate appearances in 22 games, and it'll be 18 plate appearances in 18 games in order to be eligible to pitch in the playoffs. So everything's just going to get prorated a little bit. With the schedule getting pushed back, the playoffs will start the 3rd or 4th week of September and run. Is currently the way the schedule is going to end up being drawn out. Game 5 of the championship would take place October 22nd, I think. So we're scheduled to play late into the fall. There's not a lot of wiggle room for rainouts in our schedule. I think maybe a week. But yeah, I mean, that's what we're going with for now. Hopefully we're going to have baseball in just a couple of weeks here. Once we get into phase 2, we might be able to schedule some scrimmages or something, or have practices and actually get ourselves ready for the season. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and I know there have been a few things that have come out recently too. That's basically like, yeah, like we're gonna be able to play this year. I mean, I know we keep saying that things are kind of up in the air still. It seems like they're a little bit more solid now than they were, but it is still fluid. That it can change. We just don't think it's going to change too much.
The thing that we have going for us is most of the experts say that the virus doesn't survive on surfaces in warm weather. The UV rays from the sun kill it. So as we get into the warmer months here, we shouldn't have to worry about transmission as much as we have in the past. Obviously, it's still something that's out there. But I think that the transmission rates are lower in the summer. Now, that being said, if our season runs into late October, we might be running into issues of this thing coming back and screwing us out of the end of our season, which would be unfortunate. But we'll take the baseball that we can play in the meantime.
Yeah, I mean, I know it wasn't a big deal to you, but I watched that the Tiger Phil match and everything yesterday, and I was really excited for it coming in, and I was like, oh, like it'll be cool seeing like amateurs play a professional golf course. And then when I started watching it, I didn't realize how into it I was getting because it was the first live sports thing that I watched in such a long time.
I don't watch UFC, but UFC was on ESPN a couple of weeks ago. I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, I'm going to watch this. I've been up. My dog gets me up at 5:30 in the morning. We'll lay on the couch and watch the KBO until it's time to go for a walk. It's just, I mean, that's actually, have you watched that at all?
I have not. So we were talking about that before. I haven't been able to watch an actual game. I've seen like a few highlights and everything, but that's about it.
It's interesting.
I still love the team that was putting the cutouts of fans in.
Yeah, that was really funny. It's so different from watching an MLB game. It's so much more like their lineups are almost constructed like men's league lineups where you've got, I don't know, 5, 6 guys at the top of your lineup that you're really going to rely on to be a lot of your production, your doubles hitters, your home run hitters. And then 7, 8, 9 is a lot of like, well, this guy might bunt some guys over, or this guy slap a single and steal a base. And it's a lot more fundamental. The bottom third of the lineup is the WNBA of baseball. It's all fundamentals. And then pitchers aren't out there throwing 97. You're not getting guys blowing high 90s out there. You're getting high 80s to low 90s and guys locating, except for the American pitchers that go over there. They're still probably blowing mid to high 90s.
But they're not allowed many of those.
Well, you only get 3 per team. You only get 3 foreign players per team. And before this year, apparently only 2 of those could be on the field at a time or playing at a time. So you could, I don't know why. They changed it to all 3 can be playing at the same time this year. But if you have 3 position players that are Americans, that's one guy that's got to sit every day, I guess. But you're going to sit every 3 days unless you're stud, I guess. And there's so much pressure on the foreign players over there too, because they're like usually the better players that are brought in. They're usually the highest paid players on the team. It's interesting to watch. It's good baseball. It's just so different from watching baseball over here. And they pimp the ever living shit out of everything.
I love it.
Oh yeah, it's great. This guy's bat flipping singles. It's awesome.
I might start adopting that in the middle of this, like during the season.
Why the hell not? We don't hit many home runs. You may as well bat flip a single. I said we as a team. We don't hit many home runs. You hit one, Pat. We know. I got a hole in one. Okay, we good?
But that's not. It's different.
Pat's so mad about this because Pat's a 7, 8 handicap in golf. Pat's a damn good golfer, and he's never gotten a hole in one. So he is so much better at me at golf than I am at him at hitting. And he's got a hole in run. I don't. I've got a hole in one. He doesn't. He's very mad about it.
Whatever. Not a golf ball. Not a golf show.
Definitely not a golf show.
But what I was mentioning before when I was saying like there have been like some studies and things come out. We're still planning on going to Cooperstown.
Yep. Which got moved from late June to late July.
Yeah, so it's just been moved. It's on induction weekend because that was canceled. So they're like, we don't want all these famous people getting sick. These old guys can go.
Pretty much
what it is. But the gentleman that runs that, Rudy, right? Yep. He is on the board for the MABL, correct?
I think he's the commissioner. I think he runs the show over there.
I kind of thought that, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I think he runs the show, at least for the 38-plus division, which is what he's in. I don't know if it's for the whole organization, but I think it is.
Yeah, so he had a little he ran into someone. They did some study and just kind of showing out what's going to happen. And
it's a legit study, like a legit
like
science place. That's, I mean,
people that are smarter than us.
Yeah, we're stupid. We don't actually know what kind of place it is, but it's a legit science study.
Give me one sec. You keep going.
Okay. I think what Pat was trying to say is they did some kind of study that said with the proper protocols in place and teams kind of being vigilant about keeping 6 feet and looking for symptoms in players, that there's less than a 1 in 1 million chance that somebody gets infected while at a MABL baseball game. Is that, am I phrasing that right?
Yeah. So I wasn't sure reading it if it was saying like if everyone's wearing masks when they play and things like that, whatever.
I don't think there was anything about masks.
That's what I was saying. I didn't see anything like that, but it did say like keeping distance and doing all that stuff and
monitoring for symptoms. And I think he even mentioned having players tested, which I don't know what the
I think it was
what the thought is there.
I think it was just getting tested if they thought anything.
Maybe.
So it's like the highlights of it. It says we can expect 17,000 infections per week in Massachusetts by 7/7 versus 55,000, which is going on now. This translates into an about 7% risk of a player being infected versus a 23% risk now. This assumes the baseball league surveys each player for symptoms, gets them to get tested, wears masks, and stays 6 feet apart on the sidelines. To clarify, 7% is the risk of a given player being infected on game day. Those measures reduce the risk by an infected individual showing up for the game and infecting others. With all those measures, the risk of transmission is much lower and the risk of death is less than 1 in 1 million.
Okay, so the risk of death is less than 1 in 1 million.
Yeah.
Which I guess is really the number we're going for here. That's where I'll try to avoid.
I mean, yeah. No one really wants that.
For sure not.
Could ruin your day.
I really don't want to be having to put a patch on our jersey this year.
Yeah, I don't know what you want me to say to that. Like, yeah, that would suck.
Sure would. Anyways, moving on.
But then they show like this whole graph of like when opening day is for them and things like that, and it looks like they're going to be able to start. So, with our managers meeting that we had, we came up with that when we're looking to start and cutting down the games, things like that. But we haven't had any talks on if we're gonna do any specific rules like we've talked about before, like these crazy things that are going on in these other leagues. It sounds like they're expecting all their players to wear masks. We haven't had any of those conversations yet.
Yeah.
I mean, we have time to do it, so I mean, it's not the end of the world. But it's definitely going to be some interesting baseball coming up because I can just speak for me. I don't think the talent's going to be there at the beginning. I mean, I know we're looking for a few weeks to get everyone ready to go, but I mean, we've been sitting in here doing nothing for a long time. So
yeah,
I can tell you I'm probably not going to hit a double if I hit the ball. Because I'm going to be running to first base and be winded and then just be like, yeah, I'm good.
That's fair.
But the quality of play is going to go down, and the pitchers are going to have some advantages at the beginning of the year.
To an extent, I don't know if pitchers are going to have the chance to throw and kind of air it out. They might only be able to go 3-4 innings at a time, depending on pitch counts.
What I'm saying, though, is basically if you can get on the mound and throw the ball over the plate, I don't think anyone's going to rip the ball off of you.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean, I mentioned to you earlier, my brother wanted to throw off the mound today because he likes to pitch. He's not the best at it, but he likes to pitch. So I told him that, yeah, I'd come hit off of him. So we did live ABs today. Again, he's not like – he would probably be a slightly below average CABL pitcher. I don't know. Probably, right? I don't know what the face you're making indicates. Way below average. He's got a 42 ERA in the 1 inning that he pitched. Anyways,
I think he would be able to get up there and throw strikes.
He could definitely throw strikes.
He would be hit.
Yeah, probably. But so I faced him today just in live ABs, and I'm like, wow. I forget how different it is to hit when you haven't seen live pitching in a while. Yeah. That's the first live pitching I've seen since September. The first, I haven't consistently seen live pitching since before my wedding, which was last August. So really, yeah, last August was the last time I was in any kind of hitting groove, seeing live pitching.
Yeah. You got a home run today, though.
It's different. A batting practice home run. I didn't hit one off of him throwing live. Close. I hit 2 ground rule doubles. That was pretty exciting. But it's different. It's way different trying to hit live pitching. So I think you see every year the pitchers probably dominate to start the season, then the hitters catch up a little bit. I typically start the season pretty slow. I usually hit under 300 for the first, I don't know, 3 or 4 games, and then once I start to get my timing down, that's when the hits start coming. But this year is going to be even more exaggerated. I think you're probably right that the pitchers are going to have a large advantage to start the season.
Yeah, and then I mean, one of the other things I just thought of, we've been, like I said before, we've been sitting at home, not really doing much. I know there are other people who have gone out and taken care of themselves, which good for them, but I haven't. So another thing that could happen this year is a lot more people could be getting just little tweaks and injuries and things like that. Nothing terrible, but something that might make you miss a game or two or something like that. So with all these other leagues or anything like that, if you got a guy that just graduated high school as a senior and he's looking for someone to play baseball, adding a few guys like that in your roster definitely could help, just with the amount of games that we're trying to play in a short amount of time. And
I think depth is going to be key this year, especially on the mound.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, there's going to be a lot of little tweaks, probably hamstring, shoulders hurting, elbows hurting. It's just normal baseball stuff, but it's going to – huh?
My pride's going to be hurting probably.
That hurt plenty last year, I'm sure. But just little tweaks, like normal baseball injuries that you'd normally see, are probably just going to be a little bit more prevalent this year.
Yeah. But speaking of your brother, he put together a little project for us.
That's true, he did.
Which we're playing at the end of this, so you guys will see that in a little bit. But it was a little video that he put together. It's about 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes long, and it's pretty cool. I liked it.
It is. I'm gonna send it to. We'll probably try and post it on the league page as well, so everybody will be able to see it there. I'm gonna have to get the clearance from social media czar Nick Bennett.
Czar.
He's not going to care. Like, oh yeah, I'll post it as content. So we'll debut
Thanks
that here
for doing my job
at the end of the show. Yeah, right. We'll debut that here at the end of the show if I can find it in my files, and then
you got to email it to me.
I got to email it to you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I can do that. Yeah, it was a cool little video for the CABL. A little bit inspirational, which is nice. It just makes us all want to get back out on the field that much sooner.
I mean, it kind of hurt me a little bit, not going to lie.
Why is that?
Huh?
So why is that? Oh, you're about to explain. Go ahead.
There's a picture in there of me during the
Cable Classic.
Cable Classic. I was wearing the Rough Riders jersey. And, jersey's looking great. Hat looks good. And I'm looking a little thick.
You are looking a little thick, but...
I'm looking a little thick. And
you got a men's league body.
A little thicker right now.
You've got a men's league body. It is what it is.
Nice men's league second baseman body and ready to go.
We're going to be some of the most in shape guys when we eventually make our jump to 28 plus, bet.
I don't believe you.
No, probably not, but we're going to be some of the youngest, and it's going to be great.
Yeah, we're not going to be in shape. I don't know where you're pulling that out of.
You're right. You're definitely right. But we'll be some of the youngest, and they love young legs there.
Good.
I think. I've heard.
And we've had this conversation before about that Rhode Island league. We don't even know if that's starting up yet or anything. So I
haven't heard anything from that guy since February. You've talked to him a lot more frequently than I have, I think.
Well, I just heard that we were selling cookie dough.
Oh, it was candles.
It was both.
Oh, yeah, I'm not selling either. I promise you that. This is not. I'm not trying to raise money for Pembroke Youth Baseball this year.
What's that?
So I'm not trying to raise money for Pembroke Youth Baseball by selling calendar raffles this year.
Well, you almost won the Giants one.
Oh, so close. I was so close. Mike Roberts was running it on his Facebook page, and he zoomed in on the wheel during the $1,000 spin. It was slowing down. It zoomed in, and I saw my name. I went, and then the thing just spun just past my name and landed on the next person. I was like, no! Mother! I was so upset. The Senators would have been getting new uniforms. White button-downs would have been looking nice.
Would we have Players Weekend uniforms? Could I put whatever I want in the back?
No.
Why?
And I would have been collecting them again at the end of the year because it would have been my money that would have been paying for them.
That's fair. So we'll show that video at the end, and then the last thing that I wanted to bring up, was last week, like you all saw, we did the all-time cable team. We've got a lot of people getting back, like, "What? You didn't draft me? What the hell?" Like, well, you weren't eligible.
Or we've only been in the league for 3 years. We don't know you.
Who you are. Like, didn't Ahern reach out to you and was like, Pagliuca is like one of the best pitchers the league's ever seen, and we were like, we never faced him. We had no idea.
Yep, we never. I mean, I know of him and I've seen his stats.
Heard the name,
and he hit against us. I think our first year in the league, he was hitting for the Mariners, coming back from Tommy John, but we never saw him pitch.
But yeah, like we said at the end of that, there was a lot of people left that we were thinking should have been picked and things like that. But I mean, you can only pick so many people. And
Mike Terrio put together his all undrafted team.
Aside from me getting picked, I think everyone was a valid pick. I think I liked my pity pick at the end, and I very much enjoyed it. Thank you, Dave. But there were a lot of people left out there that should have gone to a team and could have, and we wouldn't have had any qualms with it. But whatever. That's what happens when you're limited there.
Yep, it is what it is.
Yeah. Other than that, I mean, we're just biding time, waiting for baseball to start.
Yeah. I mean,
great caller, Chris.
Huh? Great caller.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got golf now. Like we've said, it's not a golf show, but we've each been golfing each of the last 2 weekends. I think you've been golfing the last 3 weekends. So that's been nice to get outside and do stuff. We're gonna try and hit now that we can get on fields. And a couple of police cars drove by today and didn't kick us off, so that was nice. Yeah, I mean, I plan. I'm going to be hitting again on Wednesday night with 2 of our other guys on the team out in this area that didn't feel like driving down to Plymouth. I think you can guess who from this area. You want to come? You can drive out to Attleboro if you'd like to.
I have nothing else going on, dude. I stay at home all day.
We're hitting at 6:30 on Wednesday night in Attleboro if you'd like to join. Did I say Friday night? Wednesday night. We're hitting it Wednesday night.
You said Wednesday.
Oh, yeah. If you want to join, you can.
Oh, thanks, man. But yeah, that's about it. We'll throw it over in a second to that video. Definitely stay and watch that. It's something interesting. I did like my only thing is there's one part at the beginning where it's like I don't want to give too much away, but it's like waiting for baseball to come back and showing that like really nothing's going on outside. And all I can picture is Kyle going out to the playground and getting one of those shots and just pushing the swing and like videotaping it.
Push it and run backwards again. You're probably
a
right.
swing like swinging. And I was like, he definitely just went out there and pushed it. It was like,
Did you notice today that the park? So he did that at Seaver. He did all the filming at Seaver,
which
is our home field down in Plymouth. Did you notice today that there was like police caution tape out on the playground?
No, I saw people on the basketball court.
Yeah, there must have been people on the playground that the town didn't want out there, so they put up caution tape. Kyle goes, "Glad that wasn't there the other day."
But yeah, so like we said, we have nothing really to go for. We're trying to extend and just make this a little bit longer, but why do that when we have nothing to talk about? So we'll throw it over to that. Other than that, we're good to go. And Chris, you got anything else at the end?
No, I think we've said it all. Enjoy the video. Poppy wants me to say hi to you guys, but that's about it. So enjoy the video, and hopefully we see everybody out on the field soon.
Hasta luego.
Buenas noches, amigos.
himself reigns supreme this year.